Hey guys, what's going on? It's Lead here. Hope y'all are doing good. So on today's video, I just wanted to, I've really been loving Marathon. Game has been amazing. One of the most played games that I've personally played in a while. If you do like extraction shooters, you definitely should take it out. Check it out. But yeah, what I'm looking at today is for those of you that are playing Marathon already, or if you're not, you might be able to learn something here. And you're only playing Squad Fill, or you're really scared to play any other map. Basically, what we're going to dive into is solo play, not Squad Fill, which is great. Squad Fill is great, and you should do it, especially when you're learning the game, in my opinion. When you're learning the game, Squad Fill is the best. Perimeter, ideally, for Squad Fill. Perimeter, ideally. Now, given that we're late into the season here, like a little over halfway through, I believe. Somebody in the comments can quote me on that there. But basically, we're late in the season. It's not like the game just dropped. It's not like it's a new season. So, in general, if you're coming into Marathon right now, what you're going to be noticing is that there's probably a lot more stacked teams than normal. This does happen in pretty much every extraction shooter, for that matter, though. What you'll have is just look at like Delta Force, for example, right? After a couple weeks, the people that have played that game all the time know exactly how to grind. They do get their gear back pretty quickly. I don't know if they do a full wipe in Delta Force, actually, so that might have been a bad quote, but I think Arc Raiders does. And I know that Escape from Tarkov does. To my knowledge, I've actually never played that one. I've only played Delta Force and Arc Raiders, aside from Marathon, when it comes to extraction shooters, and Hunt Showdown, which does count. Long story short, though, where I was going with that is going into this game. If you're new, right, Squad Fills, even on Perimeter, you're probably going to run into some pretty stacked squads that are just trying to grind kills and grind noobs. Even myself, I don't play Squad Fills a ton except on Cryo, where it's required, obviously. But going into Perimeter with even a blue shield, even in solo, I know that I am going to be able to typically pub stomp. I don't know if that's the right word for it, but I do typically know that I'm going to, either run into some geared folks that aren't necessarily as good, or some free kits that are also learning the game. So because typically at this point, it's not super worth to run Perimeter. It is worth it if I do want some lower risk and I need some mats. I do actually recommend doing Perimeter, not usually free kit, just because it's going to be a little bit harder, although free kit is fun as well. And we'll get into this a little bit later in the video. Free kit's fun on honestly most of the maps here, though. Especially in solo going in. We call it a 0 to hero run. They call it that on quite a few extraction shooter games. But I first learned the term, I believe, in Delta Force. The reason I'm bringing that up, though, right, is if you go in with nothing and you come out with a ton of loot, that is one of the best feelings in this genre. That's literally what this genre is for, in my opinion. Going back to Delta Force, right, you would go in with basically just a knife-only run. You go in, come out, start looting off the bots. You can do that in this game as well, but this game has free kits, so use them to your advantage. Get your vault stacked up. Specifically, the best thing to get it stacked up for is Outpost runs, or Cryo runs, really is the big one. That's what I stack my vault up for, is for those Cryo runs that I'm going to be doing. That said, going into it here, so starting with, is solo worth it? You're coming into this game, you're wondering to yourself, is solo worth it as a new player, or as a player that's played a lot? Maybe you only play with your squad, maybe you have dedicated friends you play with. Of course, you're going to play with your friends if they're available, but give solo a shot in this game. It seems scary at first. It definitely is the first few times you do it. That's why I highly recommend Squad Fill the first time, as you're not even the first time, as you're learning the game. Definitely Squad Fill should be your go-to typically. But once you get the map down, you'll soon learn that, really, it's not actually that hard. Best pistol if you don't free kit, or if the free kit's really bad, like the Trax one, I believe, the one that's I hate it, the PR one, I believe that's the name of it. Gotta hit that gun. When that gun is a free kit, I'm not running free kits. I'm running, typically I'll buy green shield and I'll buy the V11 punch if I'm gonna do it. I call it my free kit. That thing destroys bots. Literally, that thing melts bots. The free gun does not. That gun sucks. It's one of the worst free kits in the game, in my opinion. There's probably somebody that likes it, and once it has some attachments, it's not a bad gun. But there's still a bunch of better guns that are better than it. So, food for thought there. But, for example, you go into solos. It can be a lot the first time. The bots can swarm you and overwhelm you, so you gotta, make sure you're picking them off one at a time. You'll see it in the video here where I do pick off the bots one by one. You can't just sprint in. You gotta make sure that you position yourself correctly as well. During this video here, I don't get into a ton of player fights. Now, I have been on solo Outpost and literally killed 4 people back to back. Everybody kept charging the gunshots. It got crazy. Did win. Huge adrenaline rush. But the cool thing about Outpost specifically, I'm honestly, at first, this map solo, super intimidating. You don't know what's going on. I remember when it first launched, after they just had Dire Martian Perimeter when Outpost first came out. Solos, I was like, this map's impossible solo. I don't even know why they have solo. Like, squad fill is the only way to play it. And when you're learning this map, same goes for this map. You should start out in squad fill unless you have friends to play with and play squads. But solo player in Marathon, this is my experience, is pretty much only solo. None of my friends play extraction shooters. None of my friends play shooters in general, really. I have like one friend that plays Rivals right now. But it's a third-person shooter, so it's a little different. But even then, yeah, basically working casual player here. Somewhat casual. You guys are like level 100. How casual are you? There's much higher levels than me, but I would still consider myself medium casual. This is the only game I'm playing right now in my free time, as a full-time working dad. So that all said, though, definitely going into it, you just have to make sure you position yourself. You're solo, right? You got to make sure, listen for those footsteps. This game definitely does expose. So, and you've probably found yourself here too if you play Marathon, where you're running and then somebody's camping there. They probably heard your footsteps. More than likely, they probably heard your footsteps. And that's how because footsteps in this game are super loud for a reason, because it's an extraction shooter. That makes camping that much worse. You can even hear footsteps when somebody's crouch walking. So keep that in mind as you're stomping around the map. I do stomp around the map. One thing also when you're playing solos, the reason why it's worth to engage in fights a lot of the time is that's another less player on the map. There's no rooks in solo modes, and that actually makes them a lot of the time an easier experience. This is as you learn the maps, as you learn how to kill the bots, you'll kind of learn that actually it sort of is a little bit easier in some ways. I do in this clip get close to dying obviously a lot, but I brought in a self-revive. Solos, self-revive, super nice. That's why when they did update the game and add a depleted self-revive kit, that was a huge win for solos. Mainly because in solo, that was the one thing, is that you kind of got a cheap shot by like the bot that can spam the SMG. Or you just got swarmed by bots, right? If you had a self-revive, you probably aren't going to get down again. You might. From the bots, to clarify, if it was a player, they're going to probably finish you, almost for sure. But when it's from the bots, that's why looting the self-revive is so important, or having one already, depending on your gear that you're bringing in. Typically on a solo run, I won't bring too much. I do have decent amount of purple. There's definitely people that have way more stuff than me, but to where I could bring in purple shields in solo now, but as a player that didn't have a ton of purple shields before basically, making it out and successfully looting like Outpost or Cryo, I would typically just go in with green shield or for free kit. But you gotta try solo in this game. It's definitely worth it. That's the big thing, big reason I made this video, is I see on Reddit, or I see like reviews where it's like too hard or they're losing too much loot. You gotta make sure that you're not just playing squad fill. More than likely, a 1v1 you're gonna win. Your odds of winning are higher. If you're in a squad fill, and I do think squad fill is worth it. I definitely think it can be a good time, and I do it from time to time as well. Especially, on Cryo it's required, and I do play Cryo, so of course I do it on that. But got to make sure that you are pushing yourself. Solo definitely is an easy way to get quests done as well, actually. I've had a lot of friendly experiences in solo too. Usually shoot on site, as is, squad fills and regular, trios for playing with friends. But it definitely can be an easy way to get missions done, because if you are against a stacked trio, that's going to be a lot harder to kill than one stacked solo player. One person that's camping or that sneaks up on that solo player, they can kill them, and then you have a bunch of goop, potentially if you came with a free kit. So, purpose of making this video, I literally just queued up Outpost and had a great run. This was the first recording that I made for it, choose to believe me or not, but made it out with super good loot. I actually could have looted a bit more, but I wanted to get out to be safe. I figured I was the only person left on the map, but just to be safe, I wanted to get out. Definitely recommend it. Definitely, if you have not given solos specifically a try in Marathon, you gotta do it. It's an easy way to get your loot up. It is hard. It definitely is gonna be hard as you learn. So if you still haven't played the map, definitely start in squad fills if you don't have teammates to play with. If you do, make sure you're squadding up. But if you don't have teammates and you know the map, get out there, play solo. You don't just need to lose all your loot in cryo. You can kind of build it back up. Rook runs are great, but rook runs are hard too. Rook runs aren't the way to play solo. Rook runs, you're going to be running into full stack team stills that are just going to wipe you out back to back to back. Typically, my exfil rate is way higher as a solo versus a rook. Way higher. People are ruthless for rooks, myself included. That all said, hope y'all enjoyed the video. Listen to me rant. Hopefully you enjoyed the gameplay. This was also one take. This wasn't recorded during the gameplay there. Had to lock in for it. But loving Marathon. Be sure to check it out. I am on PC. Feel free to add me. But the main thing, be sure to like and subscribe to this video if you did enjoy it. Definitely want to be making more Marathon content here, and potentially other content as well. We'll see what comes out. Like I said, casual gamer here, dad, so gotta fit in the time where I can. But that all said, once again, thank you for all watching. Listen to me ramble, and hope y'all have a wonderful day. All right, later.